Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to really dig into the research and pull out the insights that matter for you.
Yeah, excited to get into it today.
So today, we're tackling something pretty universal, I think. This drive for excellence, that feeling of wanting to not just do something, but to really nail it, to be, number one.
Right, that desire to master something, it runs deep.
Exactly. But let's maybe clarify what we mean by number one here, because our sources, they really point away from just like external stuff, trophies, or money.
It's broader than that.
Yeah, it's more about what the research calls integral excellence, this inherent ability to persevere, to innovate, to really push your own limits in whatever you're doing.
Whether that's your job, personal goals, sports, academics, it applies across the board. It's about becoming, well, more effective, more complete.
And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The common idea is, oh, they're just talented. But the science, especially from positive psychology, it paints a different picture.
A much more empowering one, actually.
Right. It shows that this kind of excellence, it's not just genetics. It's this blend, this powerful mix of deliberate habits, a certain kind of mindset, and strategies that are actually proven to work.
Things like grit, for instance, which isn't just working hard, right?
No, exactly. It's that passion and perseverance combo, specifically for the long haul. Angela Duckworth's work showed it can predict success way better than just, like, raw IQ sometimes.
Yeah, her findings were quite striking.
So think of us today as your guides. We're going to navigate through this heap of research, scientific studies, psychology deep dives, expert insights to give you a kind of roadmap.
A structured, evidence-based way to think about your own path to mastery.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If it's not just raw talent, where does this journey to excellence actually begin? It feels like it has to start inside, right, in the mind.
That's exactly where the research points. And grit is definitely a cornerstone here. We hear the word thrown around a lot.
Like it just means toughness.
Right, just sheer determination. But Angela Duckworth's research, especially that work from UPenn back around 2007, it gave it a much sharper definition. She actually measured it.
How did she define it, specifically?
As this combination of two things. Perseverance of effort, so sticking with it, and consistency of interest over time. It's not just pushing hard, it's pushing hard towards the same long-term goal year after year. That consistency is key.
Okay. So it's not just intensity, but also direction and stamina for that one direction. That's a subtle but really important difference. Does her research suggest that this is something you're born with, or can you build it?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? And the good news is her work strongly suggests it's something you can cultivate. It's less about having it innately and more about developing it consciously.
So how do you listening actually build grit? Beyond just, try harder.
Well, the sources point towards reflective practice. It definitely starts with finding things you're genuinely passionate about, yes, but then it gets more tactical. Some people use something like a grit grid.
A grit grid, what's that?
It's basically a way to track your effort against your interest in that big goal over time. You visually plot it out. It helps you see, okay, my effort's high, but my interest is dipping, or vice versa.
So it gives you feedback on where you might be wavering.
Exactly. And understanding that pattern lets you reignite the passion with maybe smaller steps, micro commitments, instead of just vaguely trying to avoid distractions. It's about managing your own engagement.
That's really practical. A way to make something fuzzy like passion more concrete. Okay, so if grit is the compass, keeping you pointed the right direction long term, what stops you from just hitting a wall, a plateau? How do you keep improving?
That really brings us to Carol Dweck's work on the growth mindset. This is probably something many listeners have heard about.
The idea that your abilities aren't fixed.
Precisely. It's believing that skills are developed through dedication and hard work, but it's more than just belief. It fundamentally changes how you view challenges.
How so?
Well, our sources show that people with a strong growth mindset, they don't see setbacks as, proof they're not good enough. They see them as information, data points.
Okay, so a failed project isn't, I'm a failure. It's, this approach didn't work. What can I learn?
Exactly. It becomes fuel for iteration, for getting better. Every obstacle is basically an opportunity in disguise. It shifts your entire perspective on what's possible for you.
That sounds incredibly powerful. Like taking the sting out of failure and turning it into a lesson. That feels absolutely essential for that integral excellence we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say your mindset is solid. You've got that grit, that long-term focus, and you see challenges as opportunities, the growth mindset. what next? What are the actual, like, day-to-day things that really move the needle?
Yeah, this is where we get practical, and the research is pretty clear. Often, it's the small, consistent actions that add up to huge results over time.
The little things.
Exactly, and this connects directly to James Clear's work on atomic habits. It's a really powerful framework, and it's grounded in solid behavioral science.
I've heard of this. Tiny changes, big impact.
That's the core idea. Small, incremental improvements that compound. But it's not about willpower. It's about designing your environment and routines. He talks about the 4 laws: making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
Right, making it almost effortless to do the right thing.
Pretty much. And there are specific techniques. You mentioned the 2-minute rule earlier, just starting with something incredibly small, like putting on running shoes. But another really effective one is habit stacking.
Habit stacking. How does that work?
Instead of just trying to bolt on a new habit randomly, you link it directly to something you already do automatically. Like, after I brush my teeth, existing habit, I will meditate for 1 minute, new habit.
Ah, so you piggyback the new habit onto an established one.
Exactly. It uses the momentum you already have. It lowers the mental barrier to starting. And studies show this kind of linking significantly boosts long-term follow-through because you're not relying on memory or motivation quite as much.
That's smart. You're basically automating the trigger for the new behavior. Okay, so you build these positive little routines. But how does that connect to becoming, truly world-class? To real mastery? Just doing small things daily doesn't automatically make you an expert, does it?
That's a great point. And this is where we need to bring in Anders Ericsson's research on deliberate practice. This is often simplified as the 10,000-hour rule.
Right, practice for 10,000 hours and you're a master.
Well, yeah, that's the pop version. But Ericsson's work and the sources we looked at, they clarify it's not just about the quantity of hours. It's very much about the quality.
Okay, so what makes practice deliberate?
It has several key features. It's highly focused. It's specifically designed to improve performance. It often involves tasks just outside your current comfort zone. It should feel challenging. And crucially, it involves immediate feedback and refinement.
So not just mindlessly strumming a guitar for hours, but actively working on specific difficult chords, listening back, correcting mistakes.
Precisely. It's intentional, goal-oriented effort, not just repetition. And the beauty here is how these ideas connect. Atomic habits provide the structure to show up consistently.
And deliberate practice provides the method for making that time incredibly effective.
You got it. So imagine using those small, easy-to-start habits to consistently engage in short bursts of highly focused, deliberate practice with self-assessment built in. That's the path from just doing to actually mastering.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about the consistency of the right kind of practice. So we've got the mindset foundation, grit and growth. We've got the daily engine, atomic habits, fueling deliberate practice. What else? What are some of the maybe more advanced or nuanced strategies that top performers use to really pull ahead?
This is where things get even more interesting, I think. One factor that consistently comes up in the research is emotional intelligence, or EI. Daniel Goleman brought this to popular attention, but the research goes deep.
Right, understanding your own emotions and others. How does that specifically link to top performance?
Well, high EI obviously helps with things like leadership and resilience, handling pressure. But digging deeper, top performers often use their EI in a more proactive way. It's not just about reacting well emotionally, it's about anticipating and strategically navigating emotional landscapes.
What do you mean by that? Like predicting how someone will react?
Sort of. It's more like anticipating potential high-stress situations or interpersonal friction points, and then pre-planning how to manage their own emotional response and potentially influence the situation positively, turning potential conflict into collaboration, for example.
So it's like emotional strategy almost.
No.
Planning ahead.
Exactly. And the studies back this up. Organizational psychology research consistently links higher EI not just with better leadership, but with faster career progression, higher satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's about mastering the human element as much as the technical skill.
That's a powerful layer. It's not just about what you do, but how you interact and manage yourself while doing it. Okay, what other kinds of strategies did the research highlight?
A few other key things emerged, often acting like micro skills that support that high performance. First, strategic single tasking. It's not just avoiding multitasking, it's actively designing your time for deep focus.
Like time blocking.
Precisely. Creating dedicated focus blocks for your most important work, maybe using timers like the Pomodoro technique to train that focus muscle. Top performers protect their deep work time fiercely.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, building really strong support networks. And this isn't just casual friendships. It's about deliberately cultivating relationships with mentors, peers, coaches, people who will give you honest, constructive feedback and challenge your thinking.
So not an echo chamber, but a challenge network.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Excellence rarely happens in isolation. And third, structured self-evaluation, going beyond just vaguely thinking, how did that go?
How do they structure it?
Using specific tools, maybe targeted journal prompts after a project or practice session. What worked? What didn't? What's one specific adjustment for next time? Or actively seeking structured feedback, like 360 reviews. It's about constantly gathering data on your own performance to make evidence-based tweaks.
These definitely feel like next-level refinements. Not just basics, but calculated tactics to optimize everything. Okay, but let's be real. The path to getting really good at anything, to being number one, it's usually bumpy.
Understatement of the year, probably.
Right. So what are the common roadblocks? What challenges pop up again and again in the research? And more importantly, how can we use these insights to actually navigate them?
That's critical because knowing the strategies is one thing, sustaining them through difficulty is another. A huge one is motivational fatigue.
Yeah.
That initial excitement wears off.
The honeymoon period ends.
Exactly, and the grind begins. Remember those grit studies? They suggest a huge percentage, maybe up to 70%, of people ditch long-term goals simply because that initial motivation fades.
Wow, 70%. That's massive. So how do you fight that fatigue?
The research suggests a couple of things. One is implementing immediate small rewards, but linking them to your identity. So not just, I finished writing, now I get chocolate, but I'm a writer who hit their word count, so now I get to spend 15 minutes reading a book by an author I admire. It reinforces the identity you're building.
Tying the reward to the desired self-image. Clever.
And the other is leveraging social support. Accountability partners, mastermind groups, that external structure can provide a massive boost when your internal drive is low.
Okay, makes sense. What's another big hurdle?
Confirmation bias. This is a sneaky one. It's our brain's tendency to favor information that confirms what we already believe.
So we ignore evidence that we might be wrong.
Pretty much, which is terrible for learning and improvement. If you can't see your mistakes objectively, you can't fix them. The solution here is actively seeking out disconfirming evidence.
How do you do that?
Play devil's advocate with your own ideas. Conduct formal postmortems after projects, specifically asking, where were my assumptions wrong? And again, rely on that trusted feedback network to challenge your blind spots.
Right. Got to be willing to hear you're wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
What about things outside our control?
Yeah, external factors are real. Tough competition, lack of resources, unexpected life stuff happens. We can't always control the circumstances.
So what then? Just give up?
Not at all. This is where that growth mindset becomes so powerful again. Instead of seeing a roadblock as a definitive stop, you see it as a problem to be solved creatively. Okay, resources are tight. How can we achieve this outcome more efficiently? How can we innovate? It turns obstacles into R&D opportunities.
Reframing the external challenge. Okay. Anything else?
One more big one. Work-life balance, or maybe better term, strategic recovery. The drive for excellence can be consuming.
Burnout risk.
Huge burnout risk, and the mental health research is crystal clear. Sustainability is key. You can't sprint a marathon. Pushing relentlessly without adequate rest, downtime, recovery, it actually undermines long-term performance.
So it's not about being lazy, it's about being strategic with your energy.
Absolutely. Proactive planning for recovery, being flexible, setting boundaries. These aren't weaknesses, they're essential components of sustained high performance. Optimize your energy, not just your output.
Wow. Okay, understanding these pitfalls, the motivation dips, the biases, the external hits, the burnout risk, and having strategies ready, that feels incredibly empowering. It makes the whole journey seem less daunting, more manageable.
It's about anticipating the friction points and having tools ready. Resilience isn't just bouncing back, it's often about navigating smarter in the first place.
So let's try and wrap this up, pulling together everything we've deep dived into today. The core message seems pretty clear. Becoming truly excellent, that number one, in whatever field you choose, it's not really about getting lucky or having some magic gene.
Definitely not. It's a process, a deliberate, structured process you can actually build. It rests on that psychological foundation of grit, that long-term passion and perseverance.
Combined with a growth mindset, seeing challenges as fuel.
Exactly. And then powered day to day by the engine of atomic habits, those small, consistent actions.
Which create the space and consistency for true deliberate practice, the focused, challenging effort that actually builds mastery.
And layered on top of that are these crucial amplifiers like high emotional intelligence, strategic focus, strong networks, and constant self-evaluation.
Yeah, the research from folks like Duckworth, Dweck, Clear, Erickson, it all points in this direction. Sustained effort, intelligently applied, combined with adaptability and resilience, that's the formula.
It really is. Consistency, adaptability, informed practice, emotional strength. These are the pillars. It's a framework for building what we call internal excellence, where your mind, your habits, your emotions all align for peak performance and well-being.
And that's a key point, isn't it? This isn't just about career ladders or winning competitions. It's about becoming a more effective, resilient, and ultimately fulfilled person. It's about unlocking your potential across the board.
Absolutely. The process transforms you.
So as you, our listener, think about integrating these ideas, maybe consider not just what incredible things you might achieve, but also who you are becoming along the way, and how that growth might impact not just you, but the world around you. So the final question is, what's the one small thing, that single atomic step you'll take today to start activating your unique path to excellence?